Okay, so today we're playing Gears of War Judgment in 2025. This was a game that people generally liked in terms of the single player campaign. They thought it was a nice prequel and backstory to the original trilogy. But in terms of multiplayer, this game was not very popular and had a lot of negative reception from the Gears of War player base. I mean, it says a lot because you'll still be able to find some players. It's not very populated, but you'll still be able to find certain multiplayer modes and matches in 2025 for Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. But for Gears of War Judgment, you will never find a multiplayer match in 2025. It is 100% dead. Nobody's playing online, despite the game coming out years after, like, I think, what was it, like 7 years after Gears of War 1? Gears of War 1 has more players. And Gears of War 2 came out in, I think it was 2008, so this was 5 years after Gears of War 2, 2 years after Gears of War 3. So it's amazing. Like, it just shows how much people didn't really fuck with this game's multiplayer, that you'll still have a lot more players for the much older titles in the series. And obviously, there's still people playing in Gears of War 4 and Gears of War 5 on Xbox One. This is like the one multiplayer that is truly dead that I will say is definitely not worth playing in 2025 for the simple fact that no one's on. The gameplay you see right now is bots. I'm not playing against actual humans because there's none to be found. I'm not sure exactly what it was about the multiplayer of this game specifically that made people like it, because I'm not an OG Gears of War fan. I just recently got into the series now, so I'm not qualified to give an actual opinion or analysis of the actual quality of the game itself. From what I've heard, it made too many changes that deviated way too much from what made the original games great, in terms of multiplayer at least. And it was kind of just too much of a departure. Very similar to Halo Reach. Like Halo Reach was very different from the original Halo trilogy in terms of gameplay and overall feel. Like, Halo Reach still had a lot of fans, and you'll still be able to find Halo Reach matches in 2025. Gears of War Judgment, though, that is not the case. And there's a lot of parallels because this was the last Gears of War game that was developed by Epic Games, even though it was in conjunction with a different studio called, I think, People Can Fly. I think that was the name of the studio. But it was pretty much a collaborative effort. But it was, the last time that Epic Games was even remotely involved with the series before the Coalition took over and made Gears of War 4 and took on from there on out. And they're coming out with E-Day now in 2026. It was originally supposed to come out this year, but now it's next year. This is kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the series, Gears of War Judgment. I remember when it came out, and I didn't really hear much about it. It was kind of just like, It was a game that kind of existed, and you didn't really hear anything horrible, but you didn't really hear anything great either. It kind of just existed and was forgotten about pretty quickly. But I want to know in the comment section, especially if you're a Gears of War fanatic and you are like an expert on the series, what was it about Judgment that made people not fuck with this game? It's hard to tell from the gameplay, because I played this game, I just don't, because I am not that experienced with Gears of War, I can't tell too many, fundamental differences between this game's multiplayer and the other ones, but there's obviously something that I'm missing, and it's obviously not as good as the other ones when this was 2013. It's 12 years, so it's not too abnormal for a 12-year-old game to be completely dead, but for a series like Gears of War, and it has full backwards compatibility also, so if you're playing on Series X, you can still play the 360 version, so it's very accessible for the modern gamer. And like I said, the multiplayer for the much older Gears titles is still active, so this must have fucking sucked ass playing this shit. Probably did. So yeah, because it's dead, it's not worth playing in 2025. The single player is, but the multiplayer is not worth it.